Love to hear that Coqui.
Oh man, I love him too. I missed him, man.
So you live in PR now?
Well, no. I'm over here for training camp. I've been in PR since March for training camp. I've been down here.
You got a fight coming up?
Yeah, in May, late May or mid May. So that's what we're waiting for. I'm waiting for the date to get confirmed, but it was supposed to be originally April 20th out here in Puerto Rico. Then the fight got moved to May 11th, and the opponent for May 11th didn't sign a contract. So now my promoter's trying to get me into one of these May cards that is coming up. But it's for sure gonna be May.
Another opponent? Different opponent?
Yeah.
Does that affect you in any way?
I'm used to it. As a pro in your early stages in the career, nothing's set in stone until you make it to what's considered the elite level, where I'm starting to get to. Where somebody, you get a 3-4 month training camp and somebody signs a contract 3-4 months before the fight, and it's for sure gonna happen. As the early stages on the pros, you can be 2 weeks before the fight and the opponent's gonna pull out. I've had it multiple times. I have multiple opponents that have already pulled out on me. So
Since we're talking about that, I'm thinking, I guess with Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman not fighting, it didn't affect Tim Tszyu with Fundora.
well, no, that for sure. So when you go into like a training camp like that, where you have 3-4 months of training and you're preparing for somebody like that, it's different because it's like I said, it's an elite level of boxing. You're constantly studying your opponent. You're preparing exactly for that opponent. Your sparring sessions are tailored around that opponent that you're gonna face. So if you're fighting a southpaw, you're gonna look for your best southpaws sparring you can get. And I do believe it affected him, but I wouldn't say as much as the elbow that caused the gas. That's what really affected him during the fight.
Good, good point. Good point. Because that elbow changed the outcome of the fight.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, man, it's different. You can also see. I like how Tim Tszyu, even though it was a little bit into the fight, he was dominating in the scorecards. His corner should have just threw in the towel, and they would have went to the 4 round scorecards, and he would have still been champion. He would have still won that fight. Everything would have been good, but that's one of those situations where, as a fighter, you gotta learn. Okay, your corner has to learn. Like, okay, this guy's not Superman. We have to make sure we know what we're doing. To throw in the towel when it's called, because I understand believing in your fighter to a certain point, but at that point, it was like there was no reason for him. Ivan Calderon, who's currently training me over here in Puerto Rico, told me the same thing. He's like, there was fights in my career where I had to get him stopped early on, and we went to the scorecard. I was in the fight, so I completely that what he needed to do. That was gonna be the right call, and they didn't make it. You can partially blame the corner, but you also gotta blame the fighter, because at the end of the day, as the fighter, you have full control in there. You could have been like, you know what, go ahead, throw it in. We're up on the scorecards. We're gonna win. We shouldn't let this drag on either.
Well, speaking of Ivan Calderon, he was cut. I remember one of his fights, he was cut bad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, we were for sure. It was a bad cut. He was telling me about that. You know, so everything he was telling me, he's like he had to stop the fight, because he's like, if I would have kept going and I would have kept trying to fight like that, I wasn't gonna win the fight. So I stopped it when I needed to because I knew I was up on the scorecards.
And congratulations to Ivan Calderon for getting inducted this summer.
Oh yeah, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame. He's pumped about that, man. He's been about it. He's not gonna ref nobody or coach nobody or nothing like that just so that he can have the whole month separated to go. So, nothing but respect to Ivan. You already know, man.
Where's this fight taking place?
So this fight is gonna be in New Jersey and Atlantic City.
Okay. You're a lightweight, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any future opponents that you're looking forward to facing?
Man, I want Navarrete. That's one of the guys I want. And WBF, for sure, man. Anytime you guys will get in contact, and I would definitely look forward to fighting for that title. Y
What do you
Nanapichu también te me cuida.
What do you see in Navarrete? What that makes you want to fight Navarrete?
So the reason why I want to fight Navarrete is it's a fight that I would love to make happen just because of his style. Just because of his style, just of the way he fights. He's tall, lanky, loves to put pressure. He's the same as I am, and I would love a fight like that because that would be a classic Puerto Rico versus Mexico, but a war to war fight. And
Definitely.
that's the type of fights that I want to bring now to the crowd. People are tired of seeing, oh hey, and don't get hit. It's boxing. That's the art of boxing. Don't get me wrong. There's times where you have to do that. You have to be smart. But we need to bring back boxing to what it used to be. People were fighting each other for the title. It wasn't so much about the money. It wasn't so much about the names. It was more about, you know what? He's the best in his way. I'm the best in my way. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? Or he's the best at that the IBF and I'm the best at the WBC. Let's unify these titles. Let's see who's really the best. That's why you would see fights Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, Fernando Vargas versus Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya versus Fernando Vargas. You would see so many different variety of champions fighting each other. It didn't matter who it was fighting because all they wanted to fight for was the name, for the glory, to be able to say, you know what, I am the champion. I just got this. You know what I mean? It wasn't about, oh, let's make this fight happen for 50 million even though it's not a title fight, or let's make this because it's gonna be a good seller. Like the promoter has to make money, but the money comes if they give what the audience wants. If you put two great fighters fighting each other, trust me, there's gonna be ticket sales, there's gonna be pay-per-view buys, there's gonna be a whole bunch of things. But if you're giving people the same thing that they're seeing every day, uh rank number 75 contender versus the number one world, like the number one lineal or world champion or whatever they want to call it, because there's so many titles nowadays. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, people don't want to see that no more. People want to see the rank number one or rank number two guy fighting against the actual world champion because they've worked their way there.
Brian Matias with Rolly Romero and Pitbull Cruz. After that fight was over and there was the post interview, I noticed that Pitbull Cruz mentioned every top guy in his division except for Subriel Matias.
Now we're talking about Pitbull. Pitbull, I believe he can beat Pitbull, but you cannot count Pitbull out just because of the way he tucks under and throws those overhand rights. And he doesn't throw your general straight right hand. He throws your looping right hand, which comes over the back of your ear. Hold up. Oh. So which comes over the back of your ear. When he throws in the back of your ear right here. That's enough to throw away your equilibrium as a fighter.
Is that a legal punch?
That is a legal punch, yeah. As long as it's not back here, it can be right here and it's still considered legal. If it's behind here in this area, then it becomes an illegal punch.
So hopefully we can see Subriel Matias versus Pitbull Cruz in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be a good matchup. That's another fighter I wanted to fight at 135, but he moved up to 140. But if he goes down to 135, Pitbull, you know what I mean? I'm here. I know that. Give me 3, 4 more fights, and I'm for sure gonna be there. Cause I'm not gonna sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not one of those fighters that I need to fight him now. I'm ready to fight." I'm not scared of nobody. But I also know that I don't bring enough to the table to catch the eye of a negotiation with me and him. You know what I mean? I would have to bring myself up in the rankings as a WBC contender, and then I would be able to get his attention. Okay, now we can fight. But as of right now, I can come say I want to fight so and so. I'm not gonna catch nobody's attention just because of the way the industry is now. It's more of a business than it is fighting the best. It's more about, okay, let's make it happen because there's this much money in this fight.
I agree. I think right now it's catered towards uh, like the social media and all the fans that lean towards certain fighters. But I did an interview with a fighter one time, and he said to me, "There's two types of boxing fans. There's a fan of a fighter, and there's a boxing fan that watches all the fights, not just one fighter, but watches all the fights."
Mm.
So, speaking of Rolando Romero, um, after suffering that knockout loss to Tank Davis, and then almost getting stopped against Barroso, and now getting stopped against Pitbull Cruz, what should he do next?
Get back in the gym, work on the basics, go with a coach that's going to teach him boxing, not just, and he has to be willing to learn because one thing about Rolando, his style, he depends too much on his awkward style, which has helped him get through the ranks. But it only works in a low level of boxing, of pro boxing. You need to fix those mistakes so that he's able to push to that next level. You know what I mean? Because now these fighters that he's fighting, we're seeing that they're able to expose these little mistakes, his flaws that he's making because he's on a whole different bracket of opponents now. He's not fighting these up and coming fighters, these contenders. He's fighting high ranking opponents that already know how to make you make a mistake. They already know how to make you open up for a certain punch. And as soon as that opening shows, they're going to throw it because that's what they're looking to land. You know, Rolando can still sell tickets. He is one hell of a salesman when it comes to tickets, but he needs to go back to the drawing board, humble down. First of all, humble down and pay attention. Okay, I need to work on this. I need to establish on a job because he has no job. He doesn't fight behind a job.
So, in other words, Rolando Romero is like another version of Ricardo Mayorga.
I would say yes, to a certain extent, just because their styles are a little bit different. Rolando's a little bit more organized, I can say that. But as far as footwork, his footwork needs a lot of work. You know, he can't he can't fight backing up. We saw that's how Pitbull had easy fight with him because he can't fight going backing up. You know what I mean? Not a lot of fighters can, but that is a skill that if you're gonna be in that level of fighting, you need to have. You need to know how to fight, how to box, backing up, how to defend yourself while you're backing up.
So with Devin Haney fighting Ryan Garcia, how do you see that fight playing out?
Devin's gonna win.
How?
Devin's gonna outbox him. Maybe a late round, like 11th, 12th round, maybe even 10th. KO. That's if the KO comes, because Devin is more of a statistician. His boxing IQ is impeccable. You know, like I've sparred with Devin. Only 2-3 rounds I was able to get the best out of Devin, and we're talking about a 9-round sparring session. So 3 rounds to 6 rounds. He dominated me 6 rounds. After those first 3 rounds of me putting pressure, coming forward and hurting him, he was able to think, recover, and do what was necessary, the necessary adjustments to get back into the sparring session. And the next 6 rounds that came, man, he just outboxed the heck out of me with a jab. Now, we're talking about when I was 17. You know, things are different. That's been about 10 years now. You know, but still, it's it's something that even though I'm a different fighter, I know he's also a different fighter, because those are 10 years of experience we both accumulated behind us.
Um, Now going back to Tank Davis knocking out Ryan Garcia, do you think that has affected Ryan Garcia? And also, boxing, as we know, is mental. It's more mental than physical. So with Ryan Garcia acting a little crazy at the press conference, everyone's saying that something's wrong with Ryan Garcia mentally. So is
He
this going to affect?
has he has some mental issues. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the stuff though that he is saying, people, if you do your research, a lot of the stuff is real. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, he's tripping. A lot of the things that he is saying though, like I don't think he got taken. I do think that the stuff he's talking about, the Bohemian Grove and all that, Joe Rogan and a whole bunch of other people have talked about it before. There's plenty of research behind it, but the fact that he got taken there, no, I don't believe that. But I do believe that he has some mental issues going on. You could even see it in the Oscar Duarte fight when he came out. The way he came out, it wasn't the same Ryan Garcia coming out from previous fights. You know what I mean? Like the fact after he lost to Gervonta, and how Oscar and Hopkins and all these other people left him that were all around him after he lost, they left him be. That's boxing for you. That takes a toll on you. I've taken a loss and I had the whole world behind me. I could tell somebody to wipe my butt and basically they'll do it just because I was an undefeated guy, undefeated champion. The moment you lose, all those people leave your side, you know, and I'm not the first. That analogy, the first person I heard it from was Joel Casamayor. He told me he made over 50, $60 million in his career. After he started losing and he lost all his money and everything, all his friends, all the people that were around him there to cater for him, everybody left. And that's how it is. It's so true, man. You know, now that's I used to look at being defeated. Like I went into a depression real bad. I was like mentally, it affected me. It took me a while to get myself out of that hole, you know. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, he's not, because it does take a mental toll on you. But it's up to you to get out of it.
But then again, we got someone like your uncle who suffered a few losses, but everyone still loves him.
Yeah, no, of course, and like also, you know, you see people like Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, Hall of Famer, legend, took a couple losses, even early on in his career, became a legend. You know, it's not about what how you take the loss. It's not about you losing. It's about what are you gonna do after the loss. Are you gonna stay down and let it bring you down? Are you gonna stay depressed? Are you gonna let it take you down completely, or are you gonna get back up and start fighting back again? Are you gonna get back up and start trying to make a name for yourself? That's the problem with a lot of people. You can give up and you can look at everything like, oh, it's the end for me, or you could say, okay, you know what? I lost, but let's change the story. Let's change the narrative. Am I gonna let it bring me down, or am I gonna get back up and become a legend? Am I gonna get back up and be a champion? Because a true champion in boxing is not made from the wins, but it's made from how he comes back from his losses.
That's true. Before I let you go, I got to ask you about Oscar Collazo against Gerardo Zapata, taking place on the Hall of Fame weekend when Ivan Calderon gets inducted. How do you see that fight playing out?
I believe Oscar Collazo has what it takes to beat him. I just feel like he's the more technical boxer. Um, he just he needs to learn, and I know it's a lower weight class. It's a little bit hard for that explosive power to come in, but he needs to train a little bit in that explosive power. And it's not to drop him or knock him out, but just to kind of keep him off him. You know what I mean? Because in with a fighter like that, you need some pop behind you to keep him off you if he's gonna throw a lot of combinations. Because them little guys, bro, they them hands fly when they let them go. It's like, man, their hands are fast. But because I've seen all them 105ers, 1/8s, I've seen them spar in the gym, and there's 16-ounce glove, and I'm like, dude, their hands are flying all over the place.
And last time I spoke to Ivan Calderon, he said he gave Tito Trinidad some work in training camp.
Yes, sir. They sparred 3 times. Ivan Calderon helped my uncle in 3 different training camps. Ivan and my uncle, they have a great relationship, great fighters, man. They're great examples for Puerto Rican boxing. And that's the type of fighter I want to become. You know what I mean? I want, of course, boxing dream. Everybody wants to make money for their family and everything. But me, of course, I want to make money and leave my family well set. But I want to leave a legacy overall. I want to leave a legacy. I want people to remember my name and say, you know what? He wasn't just a boxer, he was a man of God. He was a great father. He was a great person. He was humble. That's the type of impression I want to be, because that's the type of impression my uncle has left. Everybody that knows my uncle personally knows he's a great father. He's a great boxer. He's a great person. And he just gave his life not too long ago to God. So he's becoming a great man of God. And that's all you want to leave, because what good is it winning the whole world, but at the end of it losing your soul? Dale, ahí estamos, brother. Que Dios te me bendiga y muchas gracias por tenerme aquí hoy.
Gracias por estar aquí.
Dale.
Dios te bendiga. El hijo de
Igualmente.
Dios, el hijo de Dios, Joy.
Borrero. Así mismo es.